Hi, I'm Jen Gallagher. Welcome to a Just Ask Jen video hosted by Scrapbook and Cards Today magazine. Today, I'm going to answer the question of how you can use our current issues or any of our past issues as inspiration for creating a layout. The project I'm going to use today as inspiration is this Today is the Day card created by Richard Garay. It is on page 70 in our latest edition. This is in the spring 2016 issue. So what we're going to do is we're going to use that card as inspiration to create a layout. So let's go ahead and get started. So the card, if you noticed and can rewind and look at it, had an edge of color. It actually had two edges of color. So what I did is I took a My Mind's Eye pattern paper and I cut it down to 8.5 by 11. And I love the diagonal stripes on this. It does have a beautiful floral on the other side. But this is going to form the background of our page. Now look how subtle and beautiful the edges look when I place a white piece of cardstock on top. So you can just see the hint of color, but it's really tropical and bright. So I don't know if you can tell, this is the back of the machine stitching, but I did a little bit of light cream stitching on that sheet of white cardstock. And I did cut it down so that it left about 1/2 inch of border all around. So the hand stitching, or rather machine stitching, I did not hand stitch that, takes a little bit of time. If you don't have a sewing machine, you can totally skip this step. Also from this collection are several papers that have a foil finish to them. However, I'm going to use this subtle side because I love this light green diagonal stripe. Going with a lot of stripes in this particular layout today. And we're just going to place that right along the bottom edge of the layout. Now the card had a bunch of flowers in the background, and that is what is going to build the foundation of our layout. So what I found were several My Mind's Eye flowers from this same collection, and I pulled them out from the ephemera pack. I do want to show you one thing that I did. I did fussy cut a little bit more around these two flowers so that when I place the flowers on my page, you can see the other flower peeking through. Before I cut it, there was a white piece here, and I just felt like it was obscuring the flowers a little bit. So let me show you how I'm going to build this. I'm going to build a kind of diagonal row of flowers, and I'm not going to stick it down quite yet because I'm going to add a few more things. I'm going to add a couple of tags also from this collection. This just has Kate Spade written all over it. It's just so sophisticated and beautiful. And then this is another tag, and you can see that I have some green satin ribbon tied to the top of it. We're going to do the same with the other tag. So I just have ribbon that I keep in jars, and then I'll go hunting for a texture of ribbon or a color of ribbon that I like. Now for this particular project, I didn't want a double knot because it's just a little bit more subtle with a single knot. Now with the satin ribbon, you want to be careful that when you cut it, you don't fray the ribbon. You can also use a ribbon fraying piece to, or rather medium or media, to paint on the edges of these ribbons, and then they won't fray. So we're going to place these down here at the bottom. The top tag will slightly come off. And the thing that I like about the satin ribbon is I kind of like it a little bit mushed up. I just think that's kind of pretty. And the other tag will be a little bit higher. Make sure that it's straight. And then my flowers are going to come across it. Now because there is gold foil in this collection, I'm going to use another gold doily. We're going to go to the very tip top, and we're going to hang off the edge here. Okay, you could cut off or cut a corner off if you want to salvage some of that doily, but I'm going to use it like that. And then I'm going to use a second doily, but I want to see my photo placement first. So this has been printed at home on HP Advanced paper, and I will link you to that paper. It's the paper I use with my printer. I do have an HP printer. I just want to make sure that you can see enough of my daughter in the photo. The flowers don't obscure too much of her dress. This was a preference dress. And we'll come a little bit on the side here. Now before I place it all the way down, I'm going to use my scissors to kind of hold it up. Now I can place that pastel doily. And this particular doily comes from the same package as those beautiful flowers. Once again, 2 doilies. Told you in a video before to check, and here I am not checking. They're just so thin they stick together quite a bit. So let's start again with our placement. I kind of know I want it to go right here. And we'll add the peach doily here. The one thing that I'm trying to do here is there's a little teeny tiny circle in the very center of the doily, and that is going to align with the edge of my photo. That just helps it look a little bit more centered on the page. All right, now we can go back and reassemble our flower cluster here. And you can turn these flowers whatever way you want if you want them to point off. Because this had a curve, I wanted the curve to go kind of around the photo. And I don't want to obscure too much of the leaves and things. Then I'll start with the bottom piece. And I'll mount it here. I'm trying to cover up as much of that white on the tag as possible. We'll do the next flower. You could also create this cluster before you place it on the page. However, I find it's easiest for me to do it actually on the page. And now we can stick this other piece down. And I just put enough adhesive to help it stick. I don't completely cover it, I don't worry about it. Now, I would not recommend placing a sticker on top of a picture that is maybe precious and you want to keep. Now, this is a copy of a photo, so I'm more comfortable doing that. But if this is the only photo you have, do not stick things on top of it. To dress up this edge over here, I have cut with a die cut machine several little leaf pieces. One I kind of ripped in half, and that was an accident, but I'm actually glad that that happened. This is a die cut from Echo Park paper. I love leaf die cuts, and I try and stock up on as many of them as I can. And then we're just going to add these little leaf bits so that the leaf parts are balanced on both sides. And I'll just paint the liquid adhesive onto the piece. And they're thin enough that you can manipulate them and curve them a little bit if you want. I like to cut more than one piece because this gives me just a little bit thicker of a cluster. And it doesn't have to be perfect, it just needs to visually kind of fill up that space and create additional layers on the other side of the page. So you can see I have smaller leaves here, and then I have the broader leaves here at the bottom. Then we're going to add a couple of paper clips. I love the texture that paper clips add. These are red. We're going to bring in some red. Now, red does not appear very much in this collection, but let me show you one little piece where it does, so it gives me the confidence to go ahead and use red. Now, if you look at this flower right here, there is a little bit of a line here, and it's actually a deep coral. But you can trick the eye into thinking it's red by bringing in some kind of scarlet red or orangey red colors. And you can see that I did one so it's long and one so it's short. That's kind of something I do on a regular basis. Then also from the ephemera pack, I have 2 tabs. They were actually 2 pieces that could fold in half, but I love them so much I know I'll use them elsewhere. So I cut them in half. We'll put one kind of high. Don't you love that gold foil diagonal? I love the little foil elements that show up in this collection. And I will link you to all the supplies below so that you can shop these items and recreate the look of this page. Now I'm going to bring in a little bit more red here on the bottom. And what I'm going to do is I am going to, actually before I do that, I want to add some photo corners. Now, the photo is getting a little bit lost with all of these busy colors going around. So this is how we're going to anchor it. We're going to use black photo corner stickers, and all of a sudden the eye is instantly drawn into that center piece. and your eye sees that photo just a little bit better. It looks like those bottom corners are covered, so I don't even need to worry about it. So the stickers come from a Simple Story sticker sheet called Life in Color, and I'm going to use this one that says Happy Little Moments. It matches that red coral piece. And I just want to make sure that it runs along that line here and is nice and straight. And then in the card that Richard created, there was a brush script font that he used for the sentiment of the card. So I love this brush script XOXO sticker that was on that sticker sheet. So copying Richard, I am going to use this, but I'm going to pop dot it so it sticks up just a little bit. I love the look of layers on a page. That also brings in, and I'm going to move this sticker down just a little bit, that brings in that black to the bottom of the page as well. You just want to make sure that you can read the journaling. So move your sticker rather as needed. Sometimes I move things around a little bit before I get that perfect placement that I want. So the black here and the black here really bring the eye into the middle of this page. And now we're going to use some enamel dots to kind of fill in the space just a little bit more. So I have two different kinds of enamel dots, and this particular one is actually from a fall collection from Echo Park, but the colors were so perfect for this page. And I'm actually going to bring in another color that you might not have seen elsewhere on the page, and that is yellow. Now you can do that because the yellow comes from the gold, so it kind of mimics that gold color. All right, so here you have a layout. Let me show you what it looks like next to the card. So here's the card. Let's compare the two. So again, he has a band of color running around the outside, which I did with a pattern paper. He creates this cluster of leaves and flowers with beautiful stamped images. I did it with both ephemera die cut pieces and manual die cut pieces. He has the eye drawn to the center of the page, which I have done with a photo. And then he has a nice brush script sentiment, which I have copied with this XOXO sticker. So using the Scrapbook and Cards Today magazine, I can pull up and look through and find a page or a card, and then I can easily create something from that. So this is an 8.5 by 11 inch layout. You could also do a 12 by 12 from this card. You just have to get creative about spacing. Thank you for joining me for this Just Ask Jen video. Again, remember any project can serve as inspiration for a layout, including a card. For additional inspiration, be sure to order or subscribe to our Scrapbook and Cards Today magazine. It includes lots of inspiration that will help get you started on your next crafting project. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel now for additional tutorial videos.